Hey there, dance lover. It's Brittany here. I wanted to come in today to talk a little bit about a group of muscles that we often try to take a lot from, but don't always necessarily give a lot to, and that is our adductors. And when I say adductors, I literally mean the muscle group that runs from the inside of your knee up into your seat, all along the inside of your thigh. And your adductors are actually really important when it comes to our stability and a lot of the actions we do. Like their name says, they literally add our muscles, they add our legs, they add our lower body back in, they bring our legs back onto the midline of our body, and they help us work through stability, and a lot of our range of motion can be limited if these guys aren't happy. They're actually the third largest muscle group in the body. They take up like a large percentage, almost a quarter of the percentage of our lower body. So we really want to make sure that we're being nice to these guys and letting them help us do what we want to do. In dancers, it's really common that we tend to kind of overstretch these muscles, and if we're not overstretching them, they actually get hyperactive and they can shorten. So we want to find a happy balance in between them. But a lot of the times I see dancers who are looking to gain their flexibility are staying in static stretches, and then this can often lead to tearing and limitation in our range of motion. As we tear the muscles, then we build up scar tissue, and it gets in the way of what our end goal actually is. So today I really wanted to dive into more of a dynamic stretching pattern that'll take you like 5 minutes to be able to do before you head into class, because it'll help to not only make your adductors warm and get involved in what's going on, get engaged in the party and the dancing, but it's going to help them to start to release a little bit more, so that when you're looking to do your straddles, your leg extensions, anything else really that's going to involve you finding that position where you're extending out and you need your legs to move away from your center, your adductors will be able to support that. They'll be able to release, but they'll also be able to function really well to keep you safe in your stability. So let's dive in. You need to just find some space. Like I said, this is a great thing for you to be able to do at the beginning of class. So let's get moving. You're going to start in parallel second, gently bending into each knee, making sure that you're keeping your hands on your hips so that your hips aren't dipping to one side and you're not sticking your seat out behind you. From here, you'll go to rotation and just bring yourself gently through 4 ground plies, tracking your knees over your toes and being nice to your hips as you just start to open through the motion. Again, making sure your seat is staying in neutral. And then from here, you can widen your legs a little further apart and try to bend into a single leg lunge on each side, staying in that gentle rotation, but not trying to force anything. Moving through and just creating a little more space from your inner knee to your seat to start to lengthen through your adductors. That's a fun moment. Just getting your inner thighs to work a little bit more here, you're gonna go into side step lunges. And when we do these step lunges, you can think about sticking your tail out a little more behind you, but again, I'm working through a parallel position, just trying to work one side while I lengthen and then bring everything back into the center. From here, I'm gonna find myself in a nice wide second position again, in rotation, going from extending over to one foot as I bend in my leg, and then coming all the way back up. So we're just starting to, again, find some more space for our adductors here as we activate and then find a little length. Moving in opposition, and it's good too because moving through this, using your arms will start to involve your whole body in motion as well. So you're really getting a full warm up here. And then just taking a few more plies, noticing if there's any difference, if anything feels easier, and then bringing those feet back together. So now we're going to come into more of an anterior adductor stretch. So you're going to step in parallel, one leg in front of the other, nice and wide, trying to keep your seat underneath you, almost squeezing through your glute as you bend into your front knee, and then you're going to lengthen that front leg and try to come into a flat back. So as we bend into the front knee, we're pressing our hip forward, keeping our tail underneath us, so we're getting a stretch in the right leg adductors in the front. And then as we straighten and we come into flat back, we're getting a little bit of a stretch in the posterior adductors on the leg that's in front. So this is really dynamic, working through both sides in different areas. And I did do about 4 rounds of this, sets of this, before I transition to the other side. But the most important key here to get into the adductor in the anterior area of your back leg is making sure that you're keeping your legs in parallel and you're trying to draw your tail underneath you, almost as if like a dog would do if they were scared. And then from here, I'm just going to start to add in some more range through my movement and getting my adductors to work a little bit more. So I'm doing hip circles, drawing across my body, opening back up, and then gently just lunging into that
that same leg. So I'll just do a couple on each side, again, getting some range of motion into my hips, getting those adductors to work and then to lengthen. And then I'll take it into some straight leg, just little on close brushes side to side, working across the body. And as you go here, you can start to increase the height of your leg, but I stayed nice and low just to make sure that I was able to keep my balance and just to start warming things up. And then finally, we're going to come into a more static stretch, but I like to actually mobilize my hip from side to side here, getting a little more of a stretch through those posterior adductors, more towards the back of our leg. And then I'll take some nice big deep side lunges, extending more through those deeper stretches while staying active. Again, I'm not really holding in any position for too long. And then I'll finally come into my nice wide-legged squat, where I would get the biggest sensation, the most lengthening could happen in this place as the knee gets higher. We're pulling the adductor away from its point of insertion at our pelvis. And now I'm ready to go. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you're looking for more helpful tips and little programs that you can incorporate into your dancing habits daily, you can check out BC Artistry's YouTube page and check us out on Instagram because we're constantly posting new things that you can try at home. Leave comments below about how you did and how your adductors, any struggles you might be feeling, and I will see you guys on the next video.